Hey there, guys. Yeah, pleasure to have you. I'm Whelan Barzey from British Blacklist, and today I'm joined by Omar, Benson Miller, and Marsha Stephanie Blake, who play Reggie and Nisi in the Apple TV series The Last Days of Ptolemy Grey. Um, Guys, did you mean to make us cry? Was that intentional going into this?
I always want
100%
people
on
to
my part.
cry. I always want people to cry.
I wanted, my goal was to make you feel it.
Feel.
And whatever it made you feel, I just wanted I want the audience to feel it intensely. I didn't want this wasn't a role that I took for the middle of the road for a passive thing. And this is something that I wanted people to feel. Otherwise, I didn't think that it serviced the story at large.
Most definitely. But in terms of of us feeling as an audience, I'd like to ask, how did you guys feel? Starting with you, I just wanted to say, I felt like there was a lot of projection onto Samuel in the sense of he could have filled the void of any family member that we've all seen go through this type of mental deterioration. I wanted to know where you gathered that strength and what you projected onto him.
I just before, almost to the date of when I came back from Jamaica to bury my dad. So March 10th, 2020 is when I came back after burying my dad. And then I think I traveled to Atlanta to start this role on like March 11th, 2021. And so for me, I had just gone through watching my father deteriorate until he passed away. And so a lot of the scenes I have with Sam, the difficulty of watching someone that you know to be strong, to be upstanding, to be like larger than life. My father was a small man, in stature, but to me, he was always larger than life. And I brought that into my relationship or Nisi's relationship with Ptolemy. It was weird that it was so close to home and, just in terms of time. But also, when I looked at Sam, when our crew did such a beautiful job with his makeup and his costuming, that I kept seeing my father. His age felt right for what the age that my father passed away at. I kept seeing my father, and I think the difficult decisions that Nisi makes and the trouble she has with dealing with Ptolemy has a lot to do with her not being able to navigate someone she loves so much, someone who she admires so much. She can't navigate the fact that he is not the same person that she's known. And her decisions are based on that. So it was very, very personal for me, this role.
Thank you. God rest your father's soul as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was very much for me, it's very familiar as well because it reminded me of my grandma. So I just wanted to ask if Omar, if you had a similar situation where you projected onto Samuel and you felt something back.
I mind the book for the material for the bond and the relationship, and then I mind myself and my life experience for that treatment of the elderly. I grew up visiting older people in my parents' circle constantly. And on the weekends and sometimes during the week, but on the weekends especially, at the time, it felt like this great big time suck. Like you finally get out of school and you have some time and you got to go over Mrs. Cooper's house or Mr. Grady's house or Mr. George's house and change light bulbs and clean up and scrape the walls and do this and do that. And at the time, I didn't really necessarily appreciate it. And now as a man, it makes me understand so many things that I learned from them wisdom wise, and just the patience and the understanding and the empathy and the humanity. All of these things that were things that I wanted to bring to the character and the bond between these two men who are both vulnerable in their own ways. And I don't think that you get to see that all too often, especially amongst Black men on screen. And it was something that I was very excited to do, and at the highest level, because Sam is a master of his craft. And with that challenge, he actually made it easier because he's great. Because of his greatness, you only have to focus on your own work. You don't have to worry about his work. You just have to focus on being in the moment, and it was, we got to rock and roll.
Thank you so much, guys. I just want to let you know that I appreciate your greatness as well on screen, and I felt the empathy and the warmth and the connection. So thank you, and I'm sure everyone else will feel the same.
Bless up. Thank you,
Thank
man.
you.
Appreciate
guys,
that.
So much.
To check
Pleasure,
out the
guys,
British
yeah.
Blacklist.
I hope
Yes.
so. We're looking for you.
Yeah.